Right, live coming up right now. Let's go. People are waiting. Oh god, like live, man. Let's see. Hi guys. I'm gonna wait for a few people to come in here. All right, guys. So we're gonna be doing something a little bit different here, guys. All right. So I'm gonna have my babe show you guys what we have this week. All right. I mean, I have, pretty much sometimes, most of the time, we have the same, the same viewpoint every single fucking time. So I mean, I don't know how that happens. We trade differently, but we always, arrive at the same point every single time, most of the time, majority of the time. So, guys, welcome. All right, we're gonna talk about what we have this week, and I'm gonna have my babe take over the stage and break the chat down from a different view, right? And she trades Astros, a way that most of you guys have never heard of when it comes to forex, right? I mean, like that makes sense. We've never heard of something like that, but she's gonna show you guys, different way to look at things, to look at the market. And she does this. She's got her own community and she's doing pretty great, guys. And yeah, you know, all right. So, babe, are you here, babe?
Hello, everybody. Very, very, very
Oh,
nice to meet you. Meet you all.
yeah. Welcome, guys. Where's your girlfriend? Oh, well, I mean, she's not gonna be popping up. She's gonna share her screen in a bit, right? She's right here. You can hear her. I mean, like, can you guys hear her go? Like, you guys have to put something in the chat so I can actually, I can know. Okay. Yo, pal. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So
I
we're
don't
gonna
know if
turn
they
off.
can hear me, but I think you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can actually hear you, and I can see on my OBS here that yeah, they can actually hear you though. I think they can hear you. Can you guys hear
Okay.
her though? Before she start, we hear you. All right, all right, all right, all right, Sam. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's do this. All right, I'm not gonna break the chat down. I'm gonna let her do it. All right, because sometimes she's like, "Babe, look, DXY is gonna do this week. DXY is gonna do that." And I'm like, "Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with you. Okay, you can hear you. We hear you both. All right, babe, we can hear you. Okay, take over the stage.
Okay.
You have your screen
Thank
here.
you.
Oh, she
Yeah,
has
can you
that.
see my
Guys,
screen?
guys, look. You've got to be respectful here, all right? Because what you're going to see is going to blow you guys' mind because the way she trades, it's nothing like you've ever seen, all right? Because I'm going to say that. The way she trades, it is nothing you guys have ever experienced. So take a chill pill here. I don't want you guys saying shit because I know you guys, all right? So I'm going to share the screen right now. So, babe, here you go.
Yeah.
That's my girl, and that's how she trades. She trades Astro, guys, and it is insane. Some of the things you're gonna hear her say. Our channel, they has future. She does not do YouTube right now, but maybe she might come on there. I've tried to, babe, record videos. She's like, nah, she wanna keep all her stuff private for just some specific set of people. So and she's doing that, and she's doing fine. You know what? If she say that's what she want, she gets it. All right, babe. So your screen is live right now. We can all see
Okay.
it. And we want to know what we should prepare for this week on DXY. Oh my God. I
Okay.
haven't even started looking at it. Like the pattern is just there. That is literally what I have on my chat. Like, okay, look, I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you this. Just before she gets started. Let me go back to my
Just
trading view.
put it. I think you should do your. I think you should do yours first, and then they can see mine and see like
Oh, I should do
why it's
mine.
so.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Let's do
yeah,
that. All right, let's do that.
because they're used to your stuff, right? So then they can see like how incredible it is, like how the Astro will match, your
Okay.
regular trading styles.
All right.
So yeah,
All right.
and I'll give a little bit of explanation of how this works.
Okay. Okay. All
It's
right, let's
not
do it. Let's do it.
magical.
Let's
It's
do it.
not mysticism. It's
Mm-hmm.
literally, mathematical science. It's been around
Exactly.
for thousands
Okay.
of years. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, go ahead and do your stuff. And then we can talk a little bit about what astrology is and how people use it to trade the markets.
All right.
And yeah,
This is
yeah,
gonna be fun, guys. This is gonna be fun. All right, let's do it.
yeah, it
So,
is fun. You just have to keep an open mind.
yeah, all right. Guys, you hear from her first. So, and don't be linking this shit, all right? Whatever she says here stays here. All right. If you see it, you see it. If you do not, just keep it like that. All right, guys. So pretty much on DXY, right? Like you can see. All right. So pretty much what we're looking at here is I'm pretty much just looking at DXY. You know what? At first, we're looking at DXY kind of like going off right here. But then with this little stuff right here happening here, so then I started thinking about things. I'm not supposed to stream today, but because of what I saw, I need to go live and we need to adjust our positions. And even looking at my gal screen just now, I know I'm already fucked. So I have to adjust to what I just saw today. So yeah, and this is it, right? How we're looking at USDCHF, we're in on this position, right? So then I'm like, you know what? We've been expecting a down, we've been expecting a sell, like pretty much, the entire week, but it's not really happening. Then I'm like, you know what? Why is this just, staying in position? Like, why is it trying to look like it's gonna go up? Then I say, you know what? Let's go back to the drawing board and let's look at the XY again. So then I saw this and I'm like, oh, good. All right. So there we go. So we have like, the 800 and the 200 kind of like here. So pretty much what we're looking at here is kind of like, a little bit of what? Last corrective leg and a little bit of like down. So how down can we go? Then I'm looking like if this goes up first to this EMA right here, and with what we have on M25 right now, we have what? We have USD news, kind of like, coming on Tuesday. So that just makes sense that if money does come in, they might want to run this up. And if they do run that up, that means we are looking at a massive, massive sell, all the way down to, pretty much like the daily low, right? Like pretty much like the daily. So we're looking like, maybe a candle all the way down to the 800 EMA on the weekly right here. So it's going to be a huge sell. And that does make sense why I've been keeping my USDCHF position. So now here's the question. So if this go up right now, USHF of course is gonna go up. But then because let's look at the position here again. So this is USHF position right here, and look at where it is. Maybe we might go up a little bit here, right, and not get tagged out. But if I really get tagged out, if I then stop there, I'm gonna load in another position right away. Maybe a little bit after it wicks out this eye right here. Maybe we can create that M formation right there before selling, right? So that is just what I'm looking at, right? Then of course, if the XY go up, this is going to want to push up a little bit. If we get tapped out, we're going to re-enter this. But if we do not, we're going to hold all this all the way down. So we're not going to be closing our positions. And that's pretty much what I'm just looking at, on DXY and other things. So if this is going to go up, that means your USD on the other side is going to want to come down a little bit. And that does make sense as well, right? So if this come down, we might do that last long right here. So you guys say this first. And I think this is really what's going to happen this week because we have CPI coming. So Monday's going to be a down, right? Kind of like, creating that manipulation, right? Then weaken out this low a little bit. Then if we reject back up or we fix above the Kijun again, then we are looking at like, then we'll be going for the DXY analysis that kind of like says we might be falling down all the way down to the, daily low, right? So that's just pretty much what I'm looking at. And what I just said right now in my base chat, I think it is really going to work the way I think it is. So babe, on to you, babe. I just break that everything down. Of course, if you know what the XY is going to do, you already understand what the entire market is going to do. It means that AUD USD might pull back a little bit, then have one more long, right? NZ USD might pull back again, then have the last sell. USD CAD again might pull back up a little bit, then have the last sell, which is what we're looking at the pullback to be around the IR's level right here, about the upper band right here. That's where I think it should end. Again, on USD, on your USD, I'm thinking about, this, close to the lower band right here, then the last buy before the sell rally, right? So that's pretty much what we're looking at. So that's the XY. So babe, on to you, babe.
Yeah.
So let us know what is going on, babe.
Okay.
We want to
Let
hear
me
it.
ask you something. Let me ask you something about your chart because when you're streaming and I'm sharing, I can't see your stream, so I can't see your chart right now. But
Right.
how high were you looking for the next couple of days? What were the levels that you were looking at of interest?
Well, if I'm looking at your chat, I'm looking at this Y down to like this way down to like, probably like, 98.6 or 98.5, pretty much around that level right there. I'm gonna say
Mm-hmm.
98.6. I think that high, I think that's the max we're gonna get. And maybe looking at chat, I think the levels you're looking at on your chat, I think it does lines up with where the upper band is, where the sale might actually
Mm-hmm.
come in. So we're looking at both levels, whatever it is. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's gonna get to like 98.6 and come down. So we have to look at both
Yeah.
levels and try to like watch for those levels and see if I will react to those levels. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I'm looking at. So 98.6, is it? Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody
All
said
right.
astrology in trading. Yeah. She said,
Yeah.
he said,
So
damn chat. All right. All right, babe. Go on.
So a little bit about financial astrology, right? So one of the most popular people out there is W.B. Gann, and he used to be a market trader and used mathematical cycles and mathematical astrology to forecast, future cycles in the market. He used to find correlations between the cycles of astrology, how the planets move, and they used
Mm-hmm.
to then match that to the cycles of the markets. Now, you guys, when you use the XY or you trade commodities, you might be used to something called seasonality, right? Where you have the markets moving in a specific way based on a specific time of the year, like things like sell in May and go away, or Santa rally, or summer slump,
Oh,
and
babe.
things like that. Yeah,
Oh, babe. In Forex, no, we do not. We are not used to something like that. Only the best traders talk about, seasonal patterns and stuff like that. But the rest of
right.
them, no, babe. It doesn't exist in this world. Maybe in the crypto world, but in this trading world, no.
Well,
Nobody ever talked
it
about it. So it's the
yeah,
first one. It might be the first.
it's typically commodities, it's typically stocks, so SPX or yeah, commodities, but it's a very well known concept in in the trading world. Maybe forex traders don't use it as much, but it is a math market concept, right? It's called
Right.
seasonality. And you have those terms, like I said, summer slump, or Christmas rally, sell in May and go away, things like that. And they come from the idea that there's certain market cycles that happen at certain times of the year.
Right.
So one really simple example of that, and I can move, my chart and show you an example of what that looks like, right? So,
Okay.
for example, right, this is a pattern of seasonality, and this is when the sun enters a zodiac sign called um, Virgo, right? And that usually happens in August, at the end of August, beginning of September. Okay. And you can see that when the sun is entering this sign, it's usually the end of the summer.
All right.
And so around this time, you can see how price, and this is the BTC chart because I use BTC mostly. I trade mostly crypto, even though I do forecasts for
Yeah.
all different markets. But you can see how price, right, every single time that it enters this particular sign, right, it has a peak, it has a retrace, and then once it leaves that sign, it has a huge rally. And you can
Right.
see that over and over again, a peak, a retrace, and a rally, right? a
Right.
peak, a retrace, and a rally. And every single time it has the same, you know, price pattern. So you can study that over and over again for as long as it, you know, the chart lasts. There will be some variations to that because they're in the bear market, it acts a little bit different. There is a delay of about a month to 2 months, maybe 3 months sometimes, but it's a pivot time where price usually turns around anyway. So
Right.
it's a very pivotal time for any chart. It's no different than, you know, DXY. Okay.
Right.
So, very similarly, right? We are about
Mm-hmm.
to enter that time, okay, at the end
Well,
of the month. And you can see how price will take a turn and then a move to the upside into September. Okay.
right.
So for the entire rest of the month, you can expect, especially after the 15th of August, you can expect price to continue to the downside. We still have some choppy waters right now as the energy is shifting, but this is a very, it's not a magic or mystic way. Literally, it's a mathematical way. This is calculated based on angles and geometry. So the same way that you can calculate a Fibonacci retracement, which is what you see here in my chart, um, the same way that you can calculate a Fibonacci top and a Fibonacci retracement using a Fibonacci retracement tool, that is the same way, the same math that is used to build the algorithm that actually moves the bots, that move the market, is the exact same math that is used in astrology. It's based on the science of astronomy, and that
Mm-hmm.
is a well-known science that's been around for years. But
Wow.
astrology is simply just the interpretation, the human interpretation of those calculations, right? Which is why I find financial astrology very interesting. Now, for DXY specifically, you can see that price has been following this particular pattern that I have here. The way that it works is that it's an energy imprint, is an energy from a previous pattern that took place. And
Right.
99% of the time, it plays to the T. There are some variations, like for example, on here, the move to the upside occurred a little bit earlier, right? But the levels were still there. Okay. And this is why mathematically, right, even though it almost works like an FVG, if you're familiar with, you know, fair
Fair
value
value
gaps and
gaps.
things
All
like
right.
that, where the price will still meet that gap, right? And it will still come to the area of interest. So that being said, I have my chart mark here from our most recent low. And I have some retracements that I was expecting, some areas of interest. Now, I marked this earlier in July, right? As you can see here, and it has come to all of my areas of interest. And it is following the astrological imprint of what I'm expecting in the next couple of weeks. Now, here we can still continue to consolidate between my breakout or breakdown levels. So at 97.9, it must support this level for continuation to the upside. And within the next week or so, what I'm expecting is for levels of 98.2 to about 98.4 as part of the middle range. And then 98.8 as my highest rejection area. Now, there is still consolidation going to be happening in those levels for next week, but what I would watch for and where you want to be mostly attentive to is reactions between August 14th and August 15th, because
Right.
we have a very important transit that is going to be peaking. That's going to be Jupiter, which is the
So,
planet
babe,
of expansion.
when you say
And
transit, can you break that
yeah,
down a little bit? When you say
sure.
transit.
So transits are angular relationships, is mathematical measurements between two objects or more in the sky. So for example, in this case, Jupiter being a planet of expansion, considering that's its energy imprint. So whenever Jupiter is present, right, in the skies and is being active, it will amplify whatever else is happening at that time. And so,
All right.
for example, in August, we have Jupiter that will be trining Venus. So trining is an angular relationship, so an angle of 60 to 120 degrees between Jupiter and Venus. So they will be at about in degrees, measure in degrees, they'll be about 120 degrees apart in a particular angular or geometrical pattern, which we describe as a trine. And in that way, it's going to have a certain energy that then mathematically can be translated into a price action. So we are expecting a particular move to the upside, or at least sideways to the upside, until it
Mhm.
peaks. And it's going to be peaking
Exactly.
around,
So,
it's
guys, this
gonna,
is what she tells
yeah.
me. Like, she just says, babe, look, it's gonna, like, I'm expecting a high to happen around this date. Now, babe, I want to address a few questions here. Somebody said money moves the market, not planet. But here's the thing, though. I was thinking the same thing, right? Like, when she got me into Astro, right? I mean, like, I am the number one person that was shit on a lot of all this stuff, right? But then explain to me why every single analysis that I did always sort of like, respect what she did. So I feel like, rather than kind of like, just dismiss everything, you might start to like really understand it. Maybe there's a different way to look at the market. Maybe there's a different
Yeah,
way, right?
well, money definitely moves the markets, but remember something that's very important. We live in the age of what we call, digital softwares, right? 90% of the traders don't trade using, I mean, and I'm talking institutional money. They no longer trade just yelling on a trade floor. They use software, and that software is coded in mathematical, algebraic, and geometric math. And basically, it's the exact same math. The same way that you see how these Fibonacci retracement tools set up lines in your chart and it gives you values, that's based on a mathematical formula. Okay.
And I
Did you
use
know
Fibonacci
that
literally
when
every single time, babe. You know that, right?
did you know that if you use the Fibonacci tool to measure from Earth to the distance of all the other planets, they are literally falling in a Fibonacci pattern. So the distance between the planets from Earth is literally the same Fibonacci levels that you see here. So it's all the same math. The math that codes, the math that runs the markets is literally the math. I can show you my gold chart. I mean, can you explain why this has been running the exact pattern since July? You can see it literally here. So how do you explain the fact that these levels get hit when it's expected? I
Right.
mean, I can show you over and over again charts. This one, for example, this is BTC, right?
Right.
I mean, I can literally do this all day. This is another chart based on the markets, on the planets, right? And I call the rally from April 20th all the way up till now. Like I said, I can just literally show you these charts over and over again. I have this chart here, and you can see, right? I have my markings here, and it says from here. And if you follow me on X, you can see I show these graphs before the price actually takes place. And you can see here how I have it marked take off from green, right? And you can see it literally, it started to fall down as soon as it hit my red line here. Let me see, is this one? Yeah, let me see if I have another one.
See, that's the thing. A lot of people are gonna hear this stuff and be like, "Oh, look, nah, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that." But I'm gonna say one thing again. I'm gonna say one thing that's gonna blow your mind. So 2 years ago, we were speaking about Bitcoin, right? What if I tell you that she literally like kind of like show me? I think I saved the chat. I'm gonna look for that. She has been mapping out Bitcoin all the way down. I think from 40,000, and she was mapping
Yeah.
120,000. I remember telling her. That. Look, babe. Now I think we're gonna go to 19,000 before we go to 120,000. I remember telling her that. And she's like, no, babe. I think this is the worst we're gonna see, and it's gonna be 120K all the way. Well, spoiler, we are already at 120K, are we not? And yeah, that's the thing. And she does this like literally every single time on X. So this stuff, right? There's so much confluence that you just cannot dismiss. Like you just cannot, like you could just can't do that. You cannot do that. You just have to like, okay, look, okay, maybe there's a way to look at this that does match what you're doing. I mean, like this. I mean, if you're gonna dismiss Astro, then you're gonna say, so why is your Fibonacci levels working? All right, so why is your trend lines working? Why is the patterns working? Why does this pattern not occur every single fucking time? Like, you just cannot say, oh, look, this is the way this market works. This is the way things work. You just cannot do that. I mean, like, we have somebody predicting moves in like months in advance, and it's happening that way. So, I mean, like, you just cannot dismiss this stuff. You just, maybe at some point, you're going to say, you know what, maybe I don't have to understand it, but I have to at least some level understand that, okay, look, maybe some part of it, a lot of it does work. Because predicting Bitcoin 120,000 from 40,000 is just not like with no trend lines and all these things and just kind of like, mapping seasonality and stuff like that. It does work. Like, honestly, it does work because most of my trades are not trades just so like, lines up. And sometimes I'm even more wrong. And if I look at that, like she's doing the right thing. Like it is always in the direction of like the market. And she says all this stuff like beforehand. I'm not talking about days beforehand. I mean, for me to do anything, I have to wait for data, right? But for in our own case, I'm telling you guys, when she does things, it is crazy, guys. Literally crazy.
I mean, I
I'm
can
saying it.
show you my newsletter,
Yeah, she
and
can show you that. So you can see how she
I
does this
mean,
stuff. Like she
basically,
maps all
this
this
has
out in
been
advance. In
I mean,
advance.
this is my August newsletter, which I created 2 months ago. And you can see this is Bitcoin's expectation here, right? And it literally traded down to the exact dates and levels that I forecasted. We're up here now on the 11th. We had these lows, which were accumulation zones. And this is the expectation. So, and I do that for all markets. You can see I put in the charts before the action happens. This is where I told people to get in around the 5th. We are way up here now, right? So yeah, this stuff really does work. Here's my DXY, right? So I mean, you really just can't deny this stuff.
Guys, you
It's
see that? She already has
this
August
is S
24th chat
this
already
is
in place.
SPX right here, and literally it's been playing out since June. Yeah, you just simply cannot deny it. I mean, you don't, like you said, you don't have to understand it, but yeah, it's there.
Well, somebody said, so bro, do you think a major Wall Street firm like SMB Capital are gonna say, well, we got the sun in Virgo, so should we take longs? Well, I'm gonna say this. What I don't think any trader ever said, you know what, we got the Bollinger Band, kind of like on this other side. I don't think anybody's gonna say that I don't think they're saying there's a fair value gap as well. Do you think they're saying that? So I don't think they're saying that. So you just, like I said, it's just a different way to view trading. But I do know one thing though. I do know one thing. I know a billionaire once said, what was the code again from this billionaire, guys?
Yeah, it was JP Morgan, and
Yeah,
it
what did you
says
say?
so JP Morgan was, one of the people who used astrology, and he publicly hired astrologers to forecast for him. And he says millionaires don't use astrologer, billionaires do. So yeah, people that make really good
Do
money
what
will
you may
make
with that
money.
information.
Right. And I mean, think about it this way. It's only a tool, right? I use market structure just like everyone else. I use regular TA just like everyone else. It's just that I use astrology for timing and for direction. So, I mean, when you are in the market, two of the most important things is timing and direction. And a lot of people have to guess. I don't have to guess. I know. right? And then I just use my regular TA approach in order to mark my levels and know where price is going next. It's not very complicated. It's not, like I said again, it's not mystic. It's not a magic ball. It's literally mathematics. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna say this, like, you can deny all you want, but I'm gonna say this, that there is one guy again that comes into the industry right now, Benach Chiporensky, the guy with the highest payout on FCMO, not like the highest in the amount, but the amount of payout back to back that he's had. And you understand that this guy really stand out from everything you've seen in forex, right? Because what he does is he kind of like, he's so into the seasonal trends, seasonal this and that. And I'm gonna say this, when he talks about seasonal stuffs, that stuff tends to line up with, like, when we have, like, crazy things happening, like the war, that could move the market, and all these things does line up with, like, Astro. Like, honestly speaking, I don't use it. All right, I do not use it, but with what I've seen, you just cannot deny it. Like, if I see EMA, price respecting EMA, I mean, like, don't you start to look at things differently from the EMA point? So that's the thing. I don't know so much about Astro. I think my head is so small right now, and I've got an intelligent girlfriend, so that can actually do this. So yeah, when she tells me stuff, I listen. I look at my chat and I map it in that direction, and I kind of like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna run this up. So yeah,
even
pretty
if
much
you
like
don't
that.
but even if you don't believe it, just mark your charts with some of the dates I'm going to give you, and then give me a call in 2 months because I'm about to give you 2 months worth of data. All right.
Hey, what
So,
did someone that said he's selling his cars for $50,000? What the fuck is that? Wait,
what,
all
what,
right.
what did, what did they say?
I mean, like, this is the guy that I mentioned. I don't know. I think we've spoke about it. Like, a guy kind of like, highest payout in terms of prop firms and stuff. So
Yeah.
he does this seasonality stuff. Like, he looks at trend from a seasonal perspective and stuff. So
Yep.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
a guy just said right now that that is why he charges $50,000. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Sorry, sorry. Don't stop saying that. No, don't say that. Financial flip, stop saying that. It cannot be $50,000. I think it's $5,000. I really think it's $5,000. Come on, stop saying that.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
again,
these guys really do charge a very, very high amount of money because, this knowledge is something, it took me 15 years of learning astrology to be able to do what I do. And it wasn't until maybe 4 years ago that I started applying it to the markets. This knowledge
graded.
takes a really long time to understand because it's not that simple. It's very complicated. But I've just been able to simplify it to a system where I can share it with people and not confuse them, right? But
Right.
it's very complex. It's not easy at all. Like I said, if you don't understand math, if you don't understand algebra, if you don't understand calculus, you won't understand this because it is very mathematical. We just make it look very simple, but it's not. But based on the astrology, DXY is going to be on a downtrend pretty soon. So it's something to
Yep.
consider. Maybe mark your charts. There will be a pivot point at the end of the month, okay, where we'll have some consolidation. And even if these levels don't necessarily hit as they're shown right here, the timing will always hit. Okay, so from the
Here you
middle of the
go.
month until yeah, from the middle of the month until the end of the month, I do expect a downtrend to kick in. So the last 2 weeks of the month should be towards a downtrend with consolidation at the end of the month. And then
Right.
beginning September, that's when you can see between beginning of September until mid-September, that will be a consolidation and manipulation back to the upside, topping in mid-September again with a small retrace into the end of September. And then by the beginning of perhaps the fourth week of September into about the first week of October is going to be another uptrend. Now, after the first week of October, we're going to have a pretty harsh retracement all the way until the end of October. So October is going to be pretty bearish after the first week. So if you're looking to do pairs against DXY, so let's say Canadian dollar or the any pairs against the DXY
Mhm.
will be probably doing really well in comparison to the DXY because DXY is about to take a serious retracement into from the beginning of October until the end of October. So if you
Right.
want to make some serious money, bet against the dollar in October.
Right. Thanks, babe. Thanks for the information. So if
Yep,
you're into that,
anytime.
you hear it for us, guys. Like,
I
I'm gonna
mean,
say
just mark
this.
your charts and call me in a few months. But if
Do
you
you,
make the money, you better be hitting me up.
did you hear that, guys? Like, that is literally, guys, like, she says it. If you do you see the level of confidence to have to say, you know what? I don't know what you're gonna do, but the timing is gonna be what it is. So yeah, you can do what you do, you can do what you made with that information. But yeah, you know, so guys, that's gonna be all about it. And again, like pretty much every single thing, right? Because again, this is the thing, right? If we cannot make this eye right here this week, obviously this is gonna be down. And if this goes down with the CPI thing or whatever news we have this week, guys. Now what we're looking at now is that we're looking at like I said, we talk about this stuff every single time. So when we have this corrective leg and stuff like that. Now we're kind of like looking at this right going up all the way down to like all the way up to like the 50%, 61% retracement, right? So if we do not make that, and instead what we did is this one. So pretty much you're looking at a bottom formation, right? So that's literally it. And this is the weekly. This is the weekly chart right here. So if this happens on a weekly, pretty much, we're just gonna consolidate for the all of what, maybe September or so, and it's gonna be us eating that 51%. So it's gonna be a journey to hit that 51% back. So guys, like you just cannot make this stuff up. It works. It's a different way to view the market. It's a different way to time the market. With my style of trading, I tend to look for data, right? But she does not. She can literally map out what needs to happen in the next couple months, and it's just gonna happen the way it is. So you can say Astro does not work. You can say financial flawed traders does not do that, but it does work. Like it happens. So yeah, guys, that concludes the. If you guys have any like questions or anything like that, you can pop it on. If you wanna have me look at any other chat, you can pop it on. I can take a look. But if there's nothing, then that will be the end of the stream. There you have it. Bringing my babe on stream, showing you guys a different way to look at the market, which is astrology. It is a nasty way. Everything she said is going to be like, I don't think so. But, bruh,
It
it
does
does
work.
lines up. That's the thing. Like, that's just it. That's just it. And I've seen people do crazy stuff on the
I
internet.
mean,
Like,
and tell them we've been together for like 3 years, and you were such a not believer at first. Like it almost cost us our relationship.
right. Almost did. You hear that, right? So it was really crazy, guys. It was really, really crazy, guys. So
We
I'm not
used to
gonna even
fight
say that.
about it all the time until you couldn't deny it anymore.
Yeah. It worked so good that we got into a fight, guys. We got into a fight because my babe apparently was trying to get 100% prediction on the market. And I'm like, babe, you don't have to do that. We can work with a higher win rate. And she's like, no, babe. I can get a higher number of win rate. I'm like, babe, no. Okay, this stuff works, but I don't think we can get 100%, babe. She's like, no, babe, I'm gonna get it 100%. I'm gonna get the 100%. So I'm kind of like, no, babe, we don't have to push this strategy like, to the limit, to the peak, but we can work with what we have now. It works, so let's work with that data. Like, no, babe, it can do better than that. We can. So she's always pushing herself. So yeah, bro, like, guys, this does work. So yeah, it works. You just cannot shit on anything. I've seen people make like 6 figures with a fucking trend line. I've seen people make
Yeah.
figures like crazy figures with a fucking have VG. I've seen people draw simple basic resistance and support, and they make banks. So when
Yeah.
somebody is out here predicting, months ahead of what the market needs to do, now you gotta take it, take a step back and like, okay, what would I do with that information? When I'm being told what needs to happen in the next couple of months, what would I do with that information? So yeah, she really She does it very good. And yeah, I know because I've seen it. So of course, that's why I brought it here, guys. So you guys can have a taste of, a different way to look at the market. And yeah, it's kind of like when you have that asset, like when you have that asset like on the side, you just kind of like, just lock it up like, when I'm in a trouble, I'm gonna call my babe, I'm gonna like, we're gonna discuss this, we're gonna like have it right. So yeah, what's a handle, babe? What's a handle again? I think the Astro,
Oh,
I mean,
it's the Woo of Wall Street. Woo as in WOO.
off Wall
So
Street.
THEWOOFTHEWALLST. The Woo of Wall Street.
All right, there you have it, guys. So before she goes, can she help map out a swing for us to hold? I'm willing to take a swing based on her analysis. Uh, well, I mean, like,
I mean, so what I can do is I can share with you my my energy graph for the next couple of days, and you can share it in your Discord if you want.
yeah. Okay. Um, but no, I'm gonna stick with the idea of DXY. So we trade DXY. So I don't want anybody eating me up like, oh look, I'm holding this. No, you just gotta be patient. And I don't think everyone else is actually patient, like to swing. So no, again, like guys, I'm gonna let you know when to swing. So if you're on the live stream, we're gonna do this together. So there's no problem there. We're gonna be looking at the same thing, and she's looking at the same thing. So you can see it out right here, like pretty much the same thing. Okay, she's off. But guys, like that's pretty much just it. It's not nothing difficult. Basically, what she's saying is when we get this eye right here, that's gonna be an important swing for us to get like your USD long, right? Like your USD long all the way. So that's pretty much what that looks like. So maybe we might be coming back to this eye right here. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. Maybe. So that is just it, guys. So on this again, since we're looking at this one right here, so we're looking at the sell to happen from where around the upper zone. But again, USHF right here is always at the upper band right here, so this is kind of like a whole big giant consolidation, so again, I'm just hoping like maybe a little bit of push up right here, then we start dropping all the way. And if we start dropping, like I said, I'm saying if we start dropping right now, guys, this is going to be the minimum price objective of this trade. So again, yeah, that is just it. You can do it. So once you understand, like I said, once you understand DXY, you can do crazy things, right? And I bet like this. I bet like this. I flip like this, and this is why I was restricted on FTMO, because once you understand, like trade setup like this is it doesn't happen every single time. It's not always this clear, but when they happen, it's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money. I just bet all the way. So that's just it. And if this fails and we are able to get below here again after going up here, that's gonna be a lot swing, guys. So again, just stay open-minded and just respect what it is on the chat. I've given you guys a clear view. You've said it. You've seen the chat. So guys, that's pretty much just it, babe. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's not
Thanks for
something.
having me.
Okay, babe. Love you so much.
Same.
All right, guys. So that's gonna be the end of the stream. Again, we are kind of like we might be in a danger here on the USDCHF trade that we have on. So again, you understand the plan, right? So if this doesn't hit stop loss and this gonna hit somewhere around here and reverse back, I think the moment we get below here, we can add to the trade and bring the stop loss around here. Hopefully, when it gets down here, we don't push back up like to this level right here. Maybe it's just gonna be a down here, then a push back up. Hopefully, right? When we break this EMA, right? I don't think we should, break our stop loss right here. So if we can take our stop loss a little bit here, this little trade is gonna make us like what, $600. So if we're able to add in here, we can get this trade to like $700 right here, which we know that we're gonna hit that. So again, it could be one and massive giant up. So guys, that's gonna be all for today. That was the trade. That was what I wanted to show you guys, and I wanted to give you guys a different perspective on how to look at things. And yeah, I thank you guys for showing up, and I thank you guys for the support and love. Every single thing means a lot, bro. Means a lot. All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on the stream again. So you guys go have fun and go get your chat ready, mac it up, and put some alert in, and notifications, and let's fucking roll, guys. All right, I'm gonna see you tomorrow.
Bye bye.
Peace. Bye.